Hello, this is a video of a 82 Chevy Silverado that I pretty much done a complete restore on, and I wanted to make a quick video and put it on YouTube. The truck is painted with DuPont Synergy green paint with a DuPont white primer, DuPont clear coat. And as you can see also, if the camera can get in, the truck was taken apart and everything was painted behind the bed also. If you look down the truck, it's got a very straight paint job. It's probably straighter than what it was at factory. And taking into consideration this paint job is also going on 2.5 years old, and it still looks almost like the day it was painted. Very clean. The bed has been sprayed with DuPont spray-in bed liner, and it's been reseamed all around the rear wells. And one thing to notice in the bed also is that the original owner of this truck had actually come out of Arkansas off an Indian reservation. But if you look at the bed is very clean for its age. Really, you can tell that it wasn't hauling any dirt or debris or a lot of rocks or anything. Got a steel row bar in the back with dual pipes coming out. The exhaust is a headers with 3-inch pipe and 70 series Flowmasters. It's got all new glass and seams all around. It's got the windshield with the antenna built into the glass. It's got the new side windows with the seams. It's got new door seams around that, new handles, locks. If you look inside, it's all been painted right. It's all took apart. The door trim was replaced about 2.5 years ago, but where I've been letting it sit in the garage, it's starting to show a little bit of cracking, not much. Probably could use some armor all. The seat's completely reupholstered. It's cloth in the front, vinyl on the sides, and excuse me for not vacuuming, cleaning it out. The dash, it's got a full dash pad back in it. I used billet for the front and a billet face. Also, it's got a cassette deck with knobs. It's not been cut out for the stereo. And if you notice, the bottom of the dash is also painted Synergy green. This truck does have power windows. It did come factory power locks. I just never got to install the actuators for the locks. And then this is the back glass. And if you look behind the seat, besides the leaves, carpeted all in the back, and then it's got the cloth in the back. And if you look on the top, it's got a LMC one-piece headliner, the vent visors, and then the seat belts. I have those. I ordered LMC. I just haven't bolted them in yet. I do have both of those. Billet steering wheel. One of the things I've not replaced yet is the steering wheel does have a little play. Doesn't affect the driving. It does great, and that's why I've not put in the bottom piece underneath the steering wheel. It's behind the seat, the painted piece, because I was getting ready to replace the steering column. So it needs a steering column, and got 3 gauges down here at the bottom. While I'm talking about the gauges, it's got a 4-core radiator in it and a 160 thermostat. And the hottest day of summer, it doesn't get over 160 degrees, pushes about 14 volts. Oil pressure is awesome, anywhere between 40 to 65 pounds. And if you look, I put all new bottom seals around the carpet. It does have new one-piece carpet in it from LMC. I also put in the dyno mat underneath. Actually keeps noise and vibration out. And then it's also got these billet Chevy thresholds that I also ordered from LMC. And I also have a set of, I got the one installed. I've also got a set of billet brake pedals. I put in the gas one, but I do have the other set for the brake and the emergency brake. And then for the good part of the truck, we'll talk about the motor. It does have a one-piece steel One-piece steel fiberglass hood. And then one piece, that was a neighbor asked me if I was having troubles. No troubles. Um, anyway, back to the engine. This is a 350. It's bored 30 over, and as you can tell, I've sunk a lot of money into it. Um, bored 30 over. The heads, the block and the heads are off of about a 77, 78 block. It is a 2-bolt main, and it's got flat top pistons. The heads are 202 heads. The heads have been pinned. It does have a 510 cam in it. It's got a 3200 racing stall. And as you can see, I do have a dual plane intake. It's the Elder Block C26 intake, and it's got two Elder Block, I guess it's Elder Block 1404s, which I believe is either a 550 or 600 CFM carburetor. It's got two of those. It's got the braided fuel line. If you look, it's got a complete MSD ignition system on it. It's got an MSD billet distributor. It's got the MSD 8.8 wires. It's got the MSD 6AL box. Part number of the box is the 6420. It does have a new radiator. I was going to order the piece to go on top of the radiator from LMC. It's a nice chrome piece that would finish it out. And I was going to order a battery box, and it still needs a new battery box and hold down. If you can see, it's got a bungee cord. I've not got to that yet. As far as the engine runs great. It's probably due from the carburetors. If you leave it set for a few days and you first start it, it has a puff of blue smoke, not much, but a very strong motor. I'm not sure the horsepower it's pushing out. Never had it dynoed, so I don't want to say anything that's not true, but it's a pretty strong motor. And as you can see on the front, this is the complete March serpentine pulley system on the front of it. This is a very costly serpentine setup from Summit. If you look, it's got the mini Satan AC compressor, and if you notice the top of it is still capped off and unplugged. I need to finish out the AC on it. The only thing it needs on the AC is it's going to need a dryer, the condenser, and then the hoses going to it. I do have the liquid line and everything. That's a hard to find part. I have all that, but for finishing the AC, I would say maybe an evaporator. When I took the system apart, it held pressure pretty good years ago, and I'm not sure about the evaporator, but I would say the evaporator is okay, but I would definitely replace the condenser, the dryer, and put new hoses on it with the liquid line and hook it into that Satan AC compressor, and those things perform great. If you notice the March serpentine pulley system, it's all T1 billet aluminum, crank pulley, AC, water pump pulley, alternator, chrome alternator, serpentine belt. It is an underdrive system, which gives the motor about 20 more horsepower by being a 15 to 20 more horsepower being an underdrive system. And if you look on Summit, it's a nice little bracket system. It boats up, takes the place of everything, and it's also got the Sawzall power steering system on it. And if you notice, it has a the March remote reservoir, which those are costly also. But if you look inside the truck and the engine compartment, and you notice the progressive linkages and everything set up, everything that I had a good mechanic buddy of mine that really put a lot of time and effort into this truck besides myself. Everything so far is done right. It's not cobbled. There's nothing held together by screws and nuts and zip ties, and everything's coming together. What I was going to do to the inside of it is repaint the fenders or get some of the chrome fenders from LMC and put on it. It does need a blower motor. That's like $15. I just never got around to it since I looked at that right there. But as you can tell, everything else is pretty straightforward and straight. It's super clean. There's also an MSD ignition coil down there too. I forgot to mention. As far as the motor itself, I'll start it up here in a minute. Great running motor. Always change the oil in it, Castrol motor oil. And if you look underneath the hood, all that's been painted right, and a MSD sticker on the hood scoop there. And that is a true Cal induction hood. It does come in through the front and come out the back through the grill. As far as the radiator, I said it's a 4-core radiator. I got one electric fan on it that comes on when you turn on the key. It works great. Got a T1 billet grill in the front of it. The 4 headlight system, all the brights and everything work. All the lights and wipers turn signals and everything work on this truck. I didn't install the turn signals back on the front, just didn't get around to it. And I've always drove it with just the rear turn signals, nothing real on the front. For the and I talked about the exhaust. It's got Flowmasters on it, 3-inch pipes, come straight out with Flowmaster 70 series. And transmission, it's got a 3200 saw. It's got a TH350 transmission in it. It's actually been built with a shift kit, and it's pretty solid transmission. It handles the truck really well. Another sweet part about this truck is the rear end on it. Let me see if I can get the camera down here to shoot at the rear end. It does have traction bars. The rear end has all been done with Yukon gears, and it is a Yukon posi track rear end with the Yukon oversized bearings. Very solid rear end on it. Got good spindles and everything inside of it. It's got the synthetic gear oil. And if I can shoot under here real quick, I can show you the underneath of the truck. And as you can see, you know, there's the Flowmasters, the rear end. If you can see, there's a picture of the traction bar, and I did put different size shocks on it because it's lowered. And while I'm getting around to the lowering it part of it, the way it was lowered is we put shorter core springs on the front, and all we done in the back is removed a couple of the leaf springs. So it gives, if you hit a bump or something, it's a little bit rougher than it should be, but if somebody wanted to add that leaf springs back and do the shackles in the back, that would be the proper way to lower it. But other than that, it's pretty good. Like I said, the paint job is perfect almost. It's about a 2-year-old paint job. The only thing that's on it, I can go ahead and point out, it got some road damage. If you look right here above the wheel, it's probably about a 1/8 1/4-inch spot. That was from a rock. And then if you look right here on the door, you really can't see it if I didn't point it out, but there it is. It's like a little 1/8 inch pinhole also from a rock. So, you know, that's just there it is right there. That's just basic road damage on it. Besides that, the paint is perfect on it. It's always been garage cap. And right now we'll start it up. And it doesn't have a choke since it's got dual carbs. It starts pretty simple. If you can hear, that's the electric fan cutting on. Give it some gas. It does have a small squeak on the serpentine belt every time it starts. But as you can hear, it speaks the ground, sounds awesome. It has been running, so I can rev it up. This isn't a cold start. It's got a 510 cam, so it's more towards the upper RPM range, 3,000 to 3,000, 7,000 RPM. And taking into consideration it's about 38 degrees out here, that's the white condensation coming out of the exhaust. It's not leaking water or anything. It's just a cold sunny morning, unsunny morning actually. But that's about it about it. 82 Chevy Silverado. It's been about 4 years doing. It's a pretty good old truck. It's one of a kind. Painted synergy green like the 2011, 2012 Camaro. But thanks, and appreciate you watching. Have a good day.